And good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing? I hope that you all are doing okay on this morning. As you come in, please hit the like button. Also, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and share the video. But definitely hit the like button because it helps the video to circulate. Um, I want to say happy Father's Day to all of those fathers that are deserving of it. And I want to say I would say happy Father's Day to the mothers but a mother could never be a father, but you do have mothers that are acting in the capacity of a mother and a father, right? Because that's all that the child has. So I would say, just shout out to those moms um, who's doing both and keeping it together while doing it. You know, shout out to you, but definitely shout out to those good fathers that's deserving of it because there are good fathers out there. Contrary to what people may want to say, there are some good fathers out there because I had a or have a good father he was a workaholic, but that's because he was building for his generations, um, building so that he could leave something behind for his children and his children and things of that nature. That's what my grandfather taught him. And there are still fathers like that. And even those, who have not caught on yet to that, they still love their children. And my prayer is that they catch on to that so that they can leave some type of generational wealth for their children and start to really understand um, and what they are here for, not only to be good fathers, but also to leave something behind. A lot of times the people in our community don't know that, but more and more people are starting to catch on to it. And for those young Black fathers that haven't, and they are still good fathers, I pray that they do. Knowledge is power, right? But today I wanted to talk about young Dolph. Of course, we always just talking about young Dolph because that's how we do it. Okay. Contrary, it ain't gonna stop over here. It's not going to, because I think about young Dolph represents a problem that has been going on in the Black community, and it really was not looked at. It was not put up under the microscope until he died. I hate that it had to happen to him for this to happen, but it just kind of goes back to why our community is in the position that it's in, right? The crabs in a barrel mentality, that hate, and also I'm going to try and destroy you. Instead of looking at your own plate, people start getting themselves into criminal things trying to stop somebody else, right? But a lot of times when people have been in and out of the justice system and they start making money that is legal, they don't know how to remove themselves from illegal things, right? So they go and because they have that griminess that on the inside of them, they just have to find a way to get themselves sent back to jail, right? So, you think about with this young Dolph's case, people keep trying to change the narrative. I can't tell you all how many emails that I get from people who and there are so many people that want to see justice for Dolph. I know there are so many that do. And I keep saying that there is going to be justice for him and it's going to come in increments, right? Because it starts at they have the two in jail that was involved because they was absolutely involved. As I say, I don't know how they're going to get out of that. If Cornelius wasn't involved, he sure put himself in it. Okay, he sure did a damn good job of making it seem like he did it, just based on what I was told. Okay, that's why I say I don't see how he gonna get out of it. Okay, it could be some miracles, especially if he talking, but I just don't see how. But we'll see. That's all I'll say. We'll see. But you see so many different narratives out there, and as I always say, you know, as it relates to this young Dolph situation, there are so many people other people that are involved. And what they do is they pay other people who don't even have to be involved. They can get on here and vlog to do criminal things, right? And then it all comes from that crabs in a barrel mentality. I want to be the only one reporting on this. You know, and it's garbage. It's flat foot garbage. You don't hear a lot of the Memphians that know say anything. Even those people that are out in the street that know from around that area, you don't necessarily, hear them say anything, and they have been new. As I said, because a lot of people already knew, the police and the FBI knew early on where Dolph's what happened in this situation. So then what happens is when people don't want the truth out, they start paying other people to push false stuff. There are some people that are talented. They can, especially when they're career criminals, they know how to make you believe them. That's what happens. They're very convincing. You have to understand, like, behind this keyboard, you don't really know who people are. You don't know their backgrounds and things of that nature. I do, but a lot of other people don't. But yet and still, because this is entertainment, okay? It does not, I've always said it didn't make me feel a certain way because it still does not change the nature or the texture of the investigation. Nothing that is put on this internet changes the nature or the texture of the investigation. But I think it's a shame how dogmatic people get to do all that they can to try and stop the truth. Put out your lies, okay? It's one thing when people put out their lives and go on with their life. It's another thing when people put out their lives and start doing criminal things to try and make everybody else believe that their lie is the truth. Because if nobody else is putting the truth out, somebody else got some credibility. I'm going to do some criminal things and get my ass sent back to the penitentiary. Okay? And that is what is happening on here. Like I said, I don't ever try to stop nobody's bag. I get mine, from outside of YouTube. So when people come to YouTube from all walks of life, especially when they've been out there in their street, out in the streets, been in all kinds of shit, probably all the still had their asses in jail from their backgrounds. But they find a way to start making legal money, even if they're getting paid out by the people that had this did to Dolph. Because whether y'all know it or not, some of these MFCs, that's one thing. But when you start doing criminal things like bullying and a whole lot of other shit that I ain't gonna talk about right now, that's gonna get you sent back. And it all goes back to what I was saying, to jail. It all goes back to what I was saying about straight dropping them. People are so easily, especially in our community, even when God has given them some type of talent, even with straight drop. Straight drop is a nice looking young man. He's the same age as my daughter. Okay. He could have perfected his gift. He was rapping. If he had kept going, that could have been perfected if the people that was sending him out to do this had truly taken him up under their wings and groomed him instead of helping them to screw his life over. He could have gone places. And it's the same thing with a lot of people as it relates to a lot of people that's putting out these false narratives on this YouTube. I don't have anything to do with what people do. But if you have a gift, why not tell the truth? And if you know damn well you telling lies and garbage, why are you so dogmatic about doing criminalistic things? That's gonna haunt you, and I promise you. Okay. I had a young lady who a few, people that had sent me an email, and I don't look at my emails, and I'm always on the go. It's a lot of stuff as it relates, especially to this YouTube and stuff. It'll go unnoticed for a minute because I'm not always on here. My money don't come from here. Okay. And so I'm talking about lurking all day and watching other people's stuff. Sometimes when I get on, I'll go and I might look at some people's stuff. I'm always looking at Auntie Fee stuff, and some people I can't look at because I can't. I'm very cognizant about what I take into my spirit, and especially when I know it's garbage. Ain't nothing but a bunch of lies and deceit. I don't care how real it looks, it ain't. And see, people get threatened by that when they know the real from the fake. They know that shit they producing ain't right, ain't real. It is shit. Never heard me call it out. Never. Okay. But sometimes things will go unnoticed. And so sometimes I'll look at, you know, my emails and stuff like that. And people have, they'll reach out to me. And there are a lot of people that is truly passionate about young Dolph getting justice. They're really invested in it. And, you know, they're very emotional because sometimes people have had, family members or something to pass away heinously, just like Dolph did, that may not have gotten the justice. So they watch this in hopes of him getting justice because sometimes it gives them hope back. And when you start seeing people send you emails and things of that nature saying, is Dolph going to get justice? They're saying that these people are fraternizing with them. People get all upset about nothing because a lot of times, more than often, when I get these emails and I look at this stuff, I'll send an email back and I'll go, but that's not even true. I'm thinking about, somebody has sent me a picture and they say it came out of CME camp. See, I don't really know whose camp it came out of, but I had received all of these emails from people saying that, Black youngster was on this picture with a judge. And I know the lady. I know the lady because I go to juvenile court all the time when I have to testify or whatever on child custody cases, when I'm hired for cases and things of the nature. And all of the emotions and stuff was in the email, and I'm like, that lady is not a judge. That lady is like a manager. An administrator is a manager over the juveniles, and what she does is she brings in, like celebrities and things of that nature to talk to the juveniles, help them to get their GED. She's not a lawyer, ain't got no legal degree, nothing. I was like, that's Martha. She's not a judge. But so many people was emotional. And that's why I say you have to be very careful. Even when things look like it's real, it ain't. Go pull a lot of this stuff for your paperwork and stuff for yourself. A lot of it is available. And then look to see if any seals and stuff is on it. Read a lot of stuff for yourself. But see, a lot of people don't do that. People just get extremely emotional, and you have to understand that people will mislead you if it's conducive to them. That's why you've always heard me say, I don't know everything, and it's not even good to know everything, but I know the path. I know the path that they're on, and it sounds about right to me. Because if there is a history, okay, if there is a history of trying to take somebody out, and you know, if there's a pattern, okay, and the same people that are now locked up are affiliated from people with that pattern, it sounds about right to me. It sounds about right to me. See, I'm not in the habit of trying to cover up for nobody, because if there are crooked patrolmen that are out there leaking information, a patrolman has no authority or no power over no damn cases. And see, a lot of people don't know how police department works. They don't. But if they're ear hustling, because that's all they can do, and they're taking somebody back some information, and you have proof of that, call internal affairs. That's how you help to get crooked officers looked at and investigated, and put, or to FBI's on this case, call over there to their federal building. But allowing people to get you emotional people that have already been put here to try and taint the truth. Okay. It's not going to help you at all because, like I said, there are a lot of people that are genuinely invested in this Dolph's case. That's why I say it ain't gonna stop over here and it don't change. I've always been solid until I see something different. Is it a possibility that Cornelius or somebody could get out? And like I was saying, are they gonna get Cornelius gonna get a bond? He probably is because that's practice. Now the thing about it is, how much is that MF gonna be? Because Lorenzen Wright's wife got a bond, it was $20 million. How much is Cornelius's bond gonna be? And I think I had explained this the other day. One of my friends that owns a bonding company, very successful bonding company, I called him and asked him. I said, now, if somebody was to come with $1 million bond, how, you know, what would how would you handle that? He said, first of all, the property has that they put up has to be equivalent to $1 million. He says, I need 10%, which means he said, I want some cash. I'm not going to just take $1 million property and not take cash. So I need 10% of that. I will let them pay 50 grand and then put them on a payment plan to pay the other 50 grand by holding their house that has to be paid for. It has to be equivalent to $1 million and it has to be paid for. They cannot be paying a mortgage on it because that means that the bank has a lien on it. And I can't get nothing out of that if they forfeit the bond. He said, and the reason that the house has to be equivalent to $1 million, because if they forfeit the bond, I got to go over there and pay them folks $1 million. And I'm not going to take property that's less than $1 million because I'll be out of business. Okay. I can't go over there and pay them 100,000. The bond is $1 million, and them folks over there at the 24-hour clerk's office, the courts are going to want $1 million. Okay. So I put a lien on their house. I need 50 in grand. The other 50, I let them pay. I'll put a lien on a house that's equivalent to $1 million until they finish paying off that other $50,000 in payments. That's how that works. I don't know if Cornelius has 100,000. We already know that there ain't no houses around that area that he lived in that's all together that's equal to $1 million. So even if he gets $1 million bond and it's 100 grand, pay attention instead of allowing people to get you emotional that's trying to change the narrative anyways. Pay attention to where that 100 grand gonna come from. See, that's why people they want to stay at me all the time because I keep the main thing. But it ain't gonna change over here. Don't pay attention to him getting a bond. Pay attention to how that motherfucker gonna be paid. Because that's where you're gonna get your answers from. Okay. So people pay people and get them involved in criminalistic things because people are so bought out for money to try to come at me. Okay. I pay you to do this or let's do that because we need to be the only ones. There are a group of people that get on YouTube and make up fake pages, which is against YouTube policies, and put out the multiple pages, put out the same shit. Because they say, well, if we get together, we all say the same thing. It ain't nothing about them grouping together and saying the same garbage and trying to play like they're enemies. But making all them fake pages, if we can corner this market, that crabs in a barrel mentality. And if we can do criminalistic things over here and then you get caught, people already know what's going on. And I promise you, I play dirty. Okay. And try and discredit this person. That's how Black people are. That's why Dolph is in his grave. That's why these people can pay some of these folks off because they all got the same mentality. They all gonna be sitting in jail together. When Black people don't know how to put out your fake narratives, it's entertainment. Put it on out and do your thing and leave other people alone. Black people don't know how to do that. They become dogmatic. If I don't get her to co-sign because they know I know the people, that's a problem right there. because it's gonna mess with our money because the people gonna know what we putting out is trash. And so they get themselves involved in all kinds of criminal things. Okay. But even though people keep trying to change the narrative and folks want to get mad at me about Keek Lock them, Keek Lock them didn't have anything to do with Dolph's death, and I'm not gonna get into that because that's not even the main thing. I don't even get into stuff like that because I keep the main thing, and that's staying on the asses of the people that I know did this to Dolph and anybody else that want to get in the way. You know, you're putting yourself in a line of fire, some of these vloggers, when you do criminalistic things because you want to keep making these little fake, these YouTube checks. That crabs in a bucket mentality. When you could just keep it clean, keep putting out your fake narratives and let the folks who did this keep paying you. But instead, you allow them to put you in crossfire that's going to send your criminalistic ass on back to the penitentiary with them. So people keep trying to change the narrative, you guys, because a lot of these people were already planned and put here, okay, to do that. That's why I say, don't let people get you emotional. Don't let them get you emotional. Start checking out when some of these YouTube pages were originated, okay? Start looking at that. Where does this person pop up from? When? Oh, okay, right after this dog situation. And then start looking at the content. Like Auntie Fee was saying, they bait you in and then change. Start looking at stuff like that. Don't get so emotional because with us as Black people, we're so easy to get emotional. And then don't let people be so quick to send you out to go to other people's pages and bully and harass them. Okay? Because that's a big no-no too. Because one thing you can't do, even with the false narratives, you know, you can't stop people from doing and saying what they want to say as long as they are not threatening and bullying you. You know, don't let people get you caught up in stuff like that. That's why I always say, even with the false narratives, it don't change the nature of the texture of the investigation. That's why you never see me getting mad. Because I know that Dolph is going to get justice, but I also know that there are a lot of plants here that couldn't take coming in off the damn street and making some money and just being copacetic, as they say. Just do your damn thing. If they're gonna pay you, let them pay you because they put you here to pay you anyway. So they, you know, they started paying you at some point to put out this fake shit and leave other people alone. But when you see people attacking other people, they do that for a reason. And it is usually because they have an agenda, and the agenda is they got a job to do, they're getting paid, or they want you to believe that fake shit that they putting out. They know what they putting out is garbage, and you are a threat. The other person who's putting out the truth is a threat. But that's why I even say with me, y'all don't see me getting mad. If you don't want to believe me, just sit back and wait. You don't have to, because I don't try to force nothing on nobody. But I do know that the narrative keeps getting changed for at this point. It's not about Dolph anymore. It's strictly about misleading people, deceit, and money. For a lot of people, there's still some people that want the truth. But one thing about the truth never changes. And people get very threatened. People are afraid of what they don't understand. People get threatened by people that don't move. I'm not easily moved. I've always been a solid chick. And when I know the truth, I stand on that. That's how I move in my everyday life. So this YouTube thing ain't it you know, it's easy for me to get on here and do that. That's just how I am. I've never been a crook, a thief, or you know, a murderer, a rapist, or nothing like that. So, you know, I'm not a chameleon. I've always just been who I am. I'm solid. So because I am like I am, when I know the truth about something, I move in one direction until further notice. And so far, it ain't changed. Okay. But that's all I wanted to talk about because I could really get into that. I want you all to tune in tonight because I'll be on tonight. Again, I want to say Happy Father's Day. I kind of went on longer than I wanted to all of those fathers that are deserving of it and those mothers that are holding it together that have been doing both. I want you all to have a good day.